Hi, my name is Ian Enochs. I am a research ecologist at the Atlantic Oceanographic and Meteorological Laboratory. I'm going to be answering some questions for AOML's World Ocean Month Q&A. I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of my research on coral reef ecosystems, particularly how different stressors can impact the health and fitness of corals and coral-associated organisms. We've actually been seeing death and destruction on U.S. coral reefs for quite some time now. The timing is a little bit different in terms of because the seasonality in the Great Barrier Reef is offset from that that we experience here in the Northern Hemisphere. But there's been large-scale bleaching that's been happening for quite some time, unfortunately. So yeah, it's becoming a real worldwide problem. So the species that we see in the Port of Miami are pretty reflective of those that we see on reefs in the Florida Keys and throughout the Caribbean. Not all of the coral species are present in the port, but several are. What's really interesting is that the corals there are experiencing conditions that could and otherwise should be killing corals. So what we're really interested in is why are those particular genotypes, why are those individuals able to persist, where those in other nearby similar reefs are actually dying. So it's a really interesting question. We're trying to figure out molecularly what's going on, but we don't have the answers yet. And that's one of the exciting things about the science. Yeah, so the corals that we see in the Port of Miami are a little bit younger than many that we see in other reef systems. The main reason is it's not natural, and they're forced to grow on these roads and substrates that have actually been put there by humans. So we have a time zero, if you will, when we know that piece of artificial reef was put there, or that piece of road or embayment, what have you. In other areas, obviously, reefs have been part of South Florida since going back before humans, and so corals have had time to accumulate and grow, and there are still some quite old corals there. Ocean acidification is really a global problem, and we can start to tackle it by the same ways that other people in the world can. Decreasing our carbon footprint is extremely important for making sure that we don't have as much CO2 in the atmosphere and making sure that pH doesn't decline and become more acidic as a result of that. In South Florida, we also have a very unique situation in that the acidity and our water quality is so very well tied to our water use. So sustainable water use practices, not leaving excessively watering your lawn, or being responsible with how much water you consume in a certain day does have real world ramifications, not just for the water you're using, but also the chemistry of our oceans and the water that our reef is living in. There's a lot of research going on right now with respect to restoration, outplanting, and whether we can sustainably restore some of these reefs. I think that we have a lot to learn and a lot to study, and that's one of the reasons that that this type of research is so important. We're really trying to understand how we can make scientifically informed decisions with respect to the diversity and the species that we outplant to the reef. We're also trying to figure out how we can scale up production to something that is ultimately meaningful on an ecosystem level. But ultimately, that's only one of the things that we need to do, right? Because we need to, at the same time, make sure that we're creating a space where these corals can ultimately thrive. So I really see restoration as critically important, but also that we need to make sure that we're reducing the stressors that are actually, existing in the field. We need to make sure that we are, at the same time, managing the places that we're restoring to be healthy ecosystems as well. Right now, I'd encourage you to look up the guys from Coral Morphologic, specifically Colin Ford. They have a lot of really cool projects going on with respect to the video, and I think there's going to be some new probably opportunities and and things announced here pretty soon. We did have a video at the Perez Art Museum that was playing on a huge screen on the water, which was really cool. And I think this represents a pretty amazing opportunity for getting people to see what's really in their backyard, what reefs are all about.